Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth and positive excellence in the process. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently up 0.15% to 2487. Ethereum is up 0.72% to 1582. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please know that our community's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. There's always hope, and the sun will come out again. The markets are currently at a crossroad. We can see that the VIX came down, the fear gauge of the market. That should have driven prices up, but that didn't actually happen. Prices have been coming down. We also saw a bit of a movement up in the DXY, but just recently it started to consolidate. We've seen bond yields come up as bond prices fall. We've had a slight bit of a hiccup in gold's price, but it's still very much under resistance. And we can see oil potentially taking out a level of resistance through here. So oil is looking actually quite strong. We had a little bit of a kick up in the junk bond, and junk bonds are a really good indicator of risk on activity. But what we can see here, the VIX is very overstretched to the negative side. We would expect a corrective action in the VIX. Now, what does that actually mean? If the VIX comes up, we would expect prices to fall. What we're seeing is the VIX falling and prices falling. That's very unusual. When you see these things, it's really good to take note of the relationships. Are they phasing in and out of association? If they're phasing out of association, for example, if the VIX is coming down and prices are coming down, it points to a lot of instability, a lot of cautiousness inside the economic system. And when we turn to the futures of the S&P 500, and one thing to keep in mind, the S&P 500 has been quite a good predictor of crypto price momentum to either the upside or the downside. I'll show you what I mean. You can see as the S&P 500 came up, Bitcoin, which is the absolute dominating player inside the crypto market, it also came up. What happened when the futures came down? Crypto came down. When it went up, crypto went up. When it came down, you can see what's actually occurring at the moment. But it's not always perfectly synchronized in, so just be aware of that. But there is a significant thing that happened here. When we look at the daily Stanfield levels, and these are derived through the CTKS method, we're looking at all of price history, not just recent price history, to figure out where smart money is buying and selling. You can see here that we actually broke through a very heavy level of support, and we traded under that. We came back, retested, and were rejected. Fortunately, there's another level of support playing in here at the moment, and that's coming out at 38.63. You can see how following the S&P futures, 500 futures, is really important to keep your eye on in terms of how you look at the crypto market. What do we want to see here? We want to see the S&P 500 futures come up to this 38.80 mark. If it's too weak and it can't hold on to this 38.63 mark, it's coming down and will get magnetized to the 38.40 mark. So it's very early times, and it's a very uncertain market at the moment. Always think in terms of three dimensions. Don't get caught into what retail traders and investors do. Smart money is a completely different mindset. We do our three-dimensional thinking. We think if the market goes down, what's the probability of that? If it goes flat or neutral, what's the probability of that? Or if it goes up, what is the probability of that? And we put the dominating percentage, the highest percentage, into the first part of our daily three-dimensional risk management code called a BORSOG code. Then we look at our actual portfolio and we say, if the market goes the way we think it goes, how will our portfolio move? And this can be very dependent. If you're all in cash, you would expect just neutral because it's not going to go anywhere. You're in cash. And one of the most important things is how synchronized in with the market you are. Do you have the Midas touch? Are you in the zone? Or has the market become wobbly? Has it created such a situation that you've lost the Midas touch? And this will always happen inside financial markets. So don't worry about your synchronization going up or down. It's the markets are there to desynchronize you. And if you want to look in depth on how to create this BORSOG code, episode 685 is the key. It's literally a whole episode devoted to this code. Remember that you control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. And that market return is based on your knowledge and your courage that you get through active learning. And well done to everybody who puts in their BORSOG codes each day in the comments. What you find is the longer you're in financial markets, it's not about getting it right, it's about improving each and every day. And because the market moves up and down so dramatically, getting your BORSOG code each and every day is really, really important. And we have such an incredible global KS family. And we also have some incredibly deep and thoughtful thinkers. And please note, I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram. And many thanks to the moderators who keep our community safe from scammers. You're very much appreciated. As professionals, we use the CTKS method to mark up our charts. We look beyond the crypto market to understand what's happening in the world, because it does make a difference. And then we look back into the crypto market, understanding the market's focus, enhancing our pattern recognition, and understanding opportunities reset every single day. And we have an opportunity mindset, positive mindset. If we get knocked down, we just stand back up and say, next. But before we buy or sell, we have positive excellence. We've got mastery of emotional control. This is incredibly important. Without stage 4 in the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, what you will find is you'll buy and sell at the wrong times, because you will be doing it because of fear and not because of courage. So we can see the crypto market cap is still flirting with the $1 trillion level. And we can see Bitcoin just below a resistance level. Well, in fact, 2 of them. And please note, the Fed meeting, the FOMC meeting that determines what the federal funds rate will be is today. And what is the probability likely to be? 86.5% probability of a 75 basis point increase. This may sound a little crazy because the job openings were more than anticipated. They anticipated 9.75 million job openings. Instead, they got 10.72 million job openings. This will actually force the Fed to raise interest rates. We also saw the ISM manufacturing PMI coming in stronger than anticipated. That actually throws a spanner in the works of the Fed as well. On top of that, we can see the University of Michigan consumer sentiment came in stronger than anticipated as well, but pending home sales decreased by a wide amount. And what the Fed is after is demand destruction, because there's an imbalance between supply and demand, and they can only fix it by hammering the economy. Coming up is the FOMC statement, and then it's a big one with the ISM Services PMI, the average hourly earnings, the non-farm employment change, and the unemployment rate later in the week. Stay tuned, that's going to be very important to watch. If we look at the US dollar currency index, and these are updated Stanfield levels, if we look at these updated SLs, we can see the DXY is actually just above 2 very strong levels of support. And the DXY is currently 111.352. We have a very strong support level at 111.235 and another one at 111.031. When you're actually above a strong support level, the momentum is to the upside. The next magnetized level of note is 112.098. But what if we lose this? What if we lose these 2 support levels? Where could we be headed to next? The next thing to look at is this 110.129. And why do we care in crypto? Because we're actually seeing an inverted relationship playing out between crypto and the DXY. Sometimes they move together, sometimes they move opposite, and sometimes they're just all over the place. But at the moment, there's a definite inverted relationship. And when we see the DXY come down, we see Bitcoin and therefore the entire crypto market come up. And what we're seeing right now is that Bitcoin is coming down as the DXY is going up. If it actually finds support in this area where it's trading right now and starts to move up, we would expect Bitcoin and crypto as well as the stock market to move down. But always keep your eyes on things because of your three-dimensional thinking. You're not caught off guard with one particular story. You're flexible. And the one thing to take note of, and Masterclass students, you received this live chart in TM4, the inflation rate, the 10-year and 5-year break-even inflation rates, and the 5-year forward inflation expectation rates, they're all coming up, even though the Fed is draining its balance sheet, and we can see the CPI raising up. This is a problem to the Fed. They may have to do more in terms of raising the federal funds rate. And Masterclass students, in LV24, you'll get this live chart. This is the prediction rate of the federal funds rate in April of 2023. We saw recently that the Fed was front-loading rates. And what happened? We had that bit of a reduction which caused a huge rally in the NASDAQ and in Bitcoin and also crypto. But we've seen that the federal funds rate prediction is now starting to come back up and yields are starting to come back up as well. We can see a degree of negative momentum inside certain yields, but it's really early to tell. The market is very unsettled at the present time. When we look at Bitcoin on the daily, it's quite possible that we're starting to cross over an area of light resistance here, but we have another area of resistance above. We can see that Bitcoin is trying to consolidate this big rocket move up, and this generally happens when you have a big move up. It typically needs to digest. And turning to Max Pain, we have a $20,000 options expiration Max Pain level. It was 618.28 million worth of options expiring on Friday, the 4th of November. What is it now? Max Pain is still at $20,000 and options expirations are 623.84 million. When we look on the weekly basis, Bitcoin and of course all of crypto is still going up. It's above a very tight support line just drawn between these two particular candles. There's a lower level running through here as well. So the potential for upward price momentum is there, but we do notice that we made a lower high in this particular week than we made last week. So the jury is still open. Masterclass students, you'll get my live chart in TG34. Turning to the shorts and the longs, we can see the longs were absolutely smacked around. They basically came out of the market. They're starting to return. They're starting to come back in and they're starting to tick up, which means that we would expect to see a predominance of long liquidations and the starting of short liquidations based on this relative movement. We can see over the past 24 hours there's been 81.15 million in liquidations across 40,123 positions, and when we look at the past 24 hours there's been about 51% long, and then the past 12 hours about 72% long, past 4 hours about 73% long, and the past hour about 78% short. So it actually aligns with pretty much what we see in the chart, and we can see that the basic volumes are not quite as much as we've seen recently, especially if we go back 4 or 5 days or even about a week. There were a lot of liquidations in the market. A lot of people about a week and so ago, they just believed that the markets would crumble, and what we understand is Rule 114. Markets penalize certainty. So we've got to be aware of overcrowding one side of the trade or the other. As soon as everybody's doing it, go to the other side of the boat because that side is about to sink. The greatest gainers over the past 24 hours, Doge up in front, followed by TON, SHIB, Chiliz, Uni, Theta, and Aptos. The greatest losers over the past 24 hours, Lunacy, Phantom, Clayton, Mana, Ape, Sand, and OKB. The metaverse is getting whacked. Turning to the top cryptos, because we're all about enhancing our pattern recognition. And when we look at this blue line, that's Bitcoin's gravity. And this is Ethereum. So you can see Ethereum and Bitcoin moving very closely in sync with each other. You can see BNB was quite decorrelated, still moving in the same direction, but lacking that power, that conviction that Ethereum had. But what do we see? It caught up and surpassed Bitcoin's gravity, primarily on all the good news with Elon Musk. But just be aware, when things are under Bitcoin's gravity, they typically will flick back and align. And that can be a very, very useful thing to know. We also can get divergences or inverters. So when we see ADA going down as Bitcoin is coming up just at the moment, and this is on a 30-minute chart, it gives you an understanding that not all positive movements will be reflected in all projects. Something just to be aware of. When you look at XRP, it's starting to come back into alignment with Bitcoin. And XRP just rallied several weeks ago, did very, very well. It's just digesting at the moment. Solana, sort of in alignment, but actually a little bit weaker, kind of like what's happening with ADA. And Doge has been on an absolute rampage. Good dog. And when we look at DOT is actually decaying down like Sol, like ADA, as Bitcoin has put in a little bit of a pump here, and we can see Matic doing the same thing. So how far does this behavior go? When looking at Tron, we can see Tron over-accentuating the negative momentum inside Bitcoin. SHIB also coming up, but the concept is getting its power from Doge at the current time. Oh, it's nice they work together. Uni, showing a little bit of strength here, just moving above Bitcoin's gravity. And we can see AVAX starting to sell down below Bitcoin's gravity as well, starting to diverge. Litecoin not quite made up its mind, but working in alignment with Bitcoin. We can see Link starting to come up. Atom is moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity and starting to get stronger. And we can see a bit of strength coming through on FTT as well. FTT is borrowing strength from Binance Coin, BNB. I'd also like to thank the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS, and a special thanks to Tom. Thank you, my friend. And of course, a very big thank you to everyone. In the coming weeks, I'll be adding LV25, which will talk through CTKS method version 2. I'm just taking a lot of time to make sure that I can explain the way that you can apply these skills to anything that you look at. And there's tens of thousands of cryptos out there. It's also equally applicable to the stock market and Forex. And I invented the CTKS method to help people to understand where smart money buy and sell levels are inside the market, to give you X-ray vision on what smart money is actually doing. Version 2 is incredibly powerful. And if you would like to get involved with the masterclass, please reach out to an ambassador to get 80% off. You'll find their links in the description of this video as well. And congratulations to the new CTKS ambassadors, Nenad, Someone You Know, Purpuratum, Art, Brett, J-Link, and Al. If you would like to learn the way the professionals look at the market, please check in the link in the description of this video for the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. These are the 5 components of the Masterclass. I just wanted to give you a bit of a heads up. Quant is below Bitcoin's gravity, and if the markets come down, Quant often comes up Just keep your eye on it. It's not a pre-drawn conclusion. It may decide to go down with the market, but something to keep your eye on. And lunacy is actually showing a crack in the concrete here. It came down by a lot and it's recovered to a degree, but something I just wanted to pass across your radar. Something else you might like to keep your eye on, Aptos, APT, is starting to form a fairly good pattern here. We might find that inverts on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin comes down, it's possible that Aptos will rally again. But again, it's just a probability. It's not a certainty. We spend a lot of time in the masterclass looking at things like this, and we can see Maker just basically fell off the cliff. Will Maker invert if Bitcoin comes down? That means will Maker start to make it up as Bitcoin comes down? Well, we'll see in time, but it's good to keep your eye on. The markets are quite uncertain at the moment, so just keep this in mind when you're doing your BORSOG. We know that the strong become weak and the weak become strong. So BORSOG is a trading and investing market synchronization technique. Just starting off with small amounts of money. I just call them coffee money trades to get you into synchronization with the market. When you feel you're getting in sync, you can start to scale. If you find that you're desynchronizing from the market, descale. This is a very, very powerful risk management tool. And it's also about getting you into the concept of how professionals do things. They often scale because what they tend to do, if they're synchronized in with the market, they'll hit it pretty hard. But the concept is you have to make sure that you're synchronized by taking small positions beforehand. Everybody has a different style of doing things, but this is a style that will work for everyone. And the key to understand is that all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. But the two mindsets are very, very different from each other. The more practice you get in trading, buying and selling, the better the investor you will be, unquestionably so. And you literally need to trade hundreds or even thousands of times to learn how to disconnect your emotional state. Your emotions will get you in trouble. That's why we focus on positive excellence as a community. And the positive excellence zone is zone 3 and zone 4. Negative excellence is zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 and zone 2 are just states that everybody progresses through to become consistently profitable, but they're very bad to stay there because they're so stressful. And as Jason said, going from zone 1 and zone 2 into zone 3 and zone 4 takes an understanding of real wealth, positive excellence, and emotional intelligence. Being kind to yourself and being kind to others is really, really important. Second is education from the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass to help you increase probabilities with your trades. And thirdly, just being grateful for what the market gives you is really important. And if the market goes against you, don't blame yourself. Just take the learnings from the trade. Thank you, Jason. Across the weekend, I'll announce the first awardee of the Jason Rice CTKS Partial Masterclass Scholarship. And Jason has been so incredibly generous. He's offered 2 of these scholarships. Thanks so much, Jason. You're just a legend. And Wabi Sabi said, many aspects of modern culture have us living in a zone 1 and zone 2 mindset. And it takes a lot of discipline to get out of that thinking. Walking the middle way or the middle path and focusing on self-improvement and hanging with our global KS family, a community of like-minded but diverse individuals. This is the way to get out of zone 1 and zone 2. Thank you, Wabi Sabi. And thank you also, John. If you're consistently losing money, you're probably in zone 1 or zone 2. Losing money is a really nasty feeling, and of course people tend to lash out. But in zone 3, we tend to just learn. And that's actually why we have the CTKS Creed, because it primes our mind for profitability in the crypto market, but also creates a beautiful life as well. And these are just a series of positive affirmation statements. When the market is really uncertain, the key is to not engage in zone 1 and zone 2 behaviors. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, we say, why me? Why me? Why did this unfair thing happen to me? I'm being singled out. This is wrong. And unfortunately, that's very, very disempowering. The key to understand, life always resets every single day. And we're all about winning or learning and never blaming. Blame makes people victims. And also, blame disempowers people because they think the solution is a change in somebody else's behavior. In truth, in Zone 3 and Zone 4, we just take accountability. We're the only one who can press the buy or the sell. And the markets demand the tuition fee of losses. There is always a dynamic between risk and return. If you want fantastic returns, you're going to have to risk as well. And where there's risk, there is the potential of loss. But of course, there's also the potential of gain. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.